Hey guys, I'm Razorblade Mango, and finally I'm able to make videos again. Woo! Oh, god damn, it feels like forever since I've made a video. Sorry, the reason I haven't been able to make videos for the past, I don't know how long it's been, month and a half, is because my video editing software sucks. It's crap, and for some reason, there was something wrong with it. I didn't know what the hell to do. Apparently, uninstalling it and reinstalling it didn't work, but finally I got the problem fixed, and voila! I can make videos again. So, thank God. It's cool. Alright, so, what do I talk about? Well, really, E3 has come and gone, so really my time to talk about that has really gone down the toilet. Really, nothing in the gaming world that's really pissing me off these days. Oh, but there is something in the movie world that's pissed me off. Oh, that's really, really, really annoyed me. The Purge, Anarchy. If you guys remember, for those who watched my worst films of 2013 video, you know that the first movie was almost my least favorite movie of last year. I thought it was dog shit. Like, the writing, awful. Characters, awful. Action, boring. Just the whole premise of this movie was stupid. And the main problem with that last movie, not only the writing, but the fact that they took it so seriously and tried to have this deep, quote-unquote, deep political message behind it, was just pretentious crap. I'm sorry. The whole way through, the whole thing just reeked of bullshit. And now we get to the Purge Anarchy, which I must admit, these guys have some of the best marketers on the planet. They're able to make their movies look so cool and interesting that I get interested. Like the first one, the trailers for the first one made this look really cool, and I was excited to see it. And then it sucked ass. And then now this one, the trailers, great. They made this look like It made it basically look like a horror version of The Warriors, that old 1970s movie from Walter Hill. And that premise, I think, is one of the most intriguing things ever. There's so much potential in a premise like that. That thing is ripe for creativity. You can have a movie be this. And it could potentially be like one of the best, not only horror movies ever, one of the best action hybrid horror movies ever. And they completely fucked that up. God damn it. They completely fucked that up. Again. They had all the potential in the world to make this a cool movie. And they fucking ruined it again. Ugh. Now, to address the the general consensus around this movie is that this is definitely a big improvement over the first one. And I agree. It is a big improvement over the first one. But that's like comparing a piece of shit to a piece of shit with a eensy-weensy little bit of corn in it. There's just something a little bit more in that other piece of shit, but if you think about it and look at it hard enough, it's still a big fucking piece of shit! So, what's this movie about now? I don't know whether this is a prequel or a sequel. It doesn't fucking matter. It really has no connection to the first movie beyond the Purge premise. So, let's just assume it's a sequel. Basically what's going on in this one is that the population is still under this crap, and on this night, unlike the first movie where we only followed one family, now we follow 3 sets of people that combine to form one big group. So we start with And I'm sorry, I don't even remember most of these actors' names. We start with Frank Grillo as this man who last year, someone killed his son by an accident. And on a technicality, he was not arrested and put in jail. So he's using this year's Purge to go out and find that man that killed his son and assumably torture and kill him. And then we have another family, a mother and daughter, who I never believed for a second that they were mother and daughter. The mother looked way too young to be this girl's mother. I did not believe that. That was just bad casting. I could not believe that shit. So they have to band together because their apartment gets raided by these SWAT people, apparently, and they're taken out, and they're saved by Frank Grillo. And also, there's another couple that their car broke down, or it was sabotaged by another gang, so they're on the run in the middle of nowhere, in open space during the Purge, so they eventually meet up with Frank Grillo and the other mother and daughter team. And they basically form one big group, like I said, and go out, and they have to go from place to place to place. And this sounds like a cool idea. The way I'm describing it, it sounds cool. But the writing is so bad. Oh God, is it so bad. All these characters, the only one with any kind of potential is Frank Grillo's character, because he has easily the most interesting story out of all of them. But the rest of them are just boring. They are boring characters. They bitch and argue and moan a lot, and they just talk shit to each other for no reason. They're in like the worst situation imaginable, and what's their first reaction? Oh, they just start bitching at each other. We have to go to couples counseling. You're just an asshole. It's so annoying. Because they don't behave in, it's like the first movie. They don't behave in any realistic way possible. They're just there to say the shittiest dialogue and make the shittiest decisions. So they're stupid. And then Frank Grillo's character, I'm not going to give any spoilers regarding his character. They completely waste his character. His character arc is such an anticlimax and so stupid that it's just, it pissed me off just watching that. Another problem with this movie is that they do not go all the way with this horror version of the Warriors setup. And that's really what they're setting themselves up for. I'm going to keep bringing that comparison up, because this movie feels like that movie. It's a team of people trying to get from one area all the way to another, and on the way they encounter like different gangs, different traps, different little micro things in order to get to where they need to go. In the Warriors, it worked, because each little beat along the way was interesting, whether they introduced a new obstacle within, like fighting within themselves, or a new gang, or something, or an action scene, and it kept the movie going along at a really nice pace, and it was always fun, because you never knew what to expect. You always looked forward to a new gang appearing and being like, we're gonna fuck you up. This movie, they could have done the exact same thing. It looks like they're building up to that in the movie. Let's forget those trailers even existed, okay? Let's forget I did not see a single trailer for this movie. The beginning of this movie, they show all these different, like, cliques of people, all these different gangs. They even like, make I want to assume they're making a little nod to the Warriors with this gang of skinheads who wield machetes and flamethrowers. It shows them on a school bus riding into the night to go fuck shit up. And they never make another appearance. So why couldn't this gang have appeared? This gang would have been so interesting to have an encounter with our main characters. How would they escape them? What is the personality of this gang? What are they going to do? I don't know. Apparently this movie is so much more interested in delivering its bullshit political messages than actually having fun. Because really, there's only like 3 or 4 gangs in this movie, and none of them are interesting. I mean, they're interesting for about like 30 seconds, and then they just repeat the same beats over and over and over again, or they're just lame. For example, there's this gang that wears masks that have that they look like skull versions of chipmunks, and one of them has an eye-rollingly stupid God, they literally, one of his masks literally has the word God on it. Gee, I wonder what that could mean. So they have the potential to be creepy, to be interesting, because the masks in the first movie were one of the best parts, because they were admittedly creepy. And what do they do with these characters? They have them riding on their bikes. And I'm not talking about motorcycles. I'm talking about bikes in slow motion. Like going, ha ha, and waving their arms. And literally one part, I cannot make this up. There's literally one part where in slow motion, one of the gang members goes, ah, and beats his chest repeatedly like King Kong. He just, in slow motion. And right after that, this gang just lost all sense of menace and fright. And they just turned silly. And not in a good way, where I find them silly yet interesting and terrifying. I find them just silly, to the point where I don't even consider them a threat. They're just these gang of goofballs. It's such a waste. Such a fucking waste. And barely, again, they had all this potential to come up with all these different little cliques, all these different little situations, and it seems like that's what they're going for. But the problem is, here's another problem with this movie. It takes itself so seriously. It takes its premise so seriously. Because what do they want to do instead of having fun? They want to deliver political messages about gun violence and the 1% in this movie. Whoop-de-fucking-do! And, I've heard a lot of people say, this is the subtext of the movie. That's the problem! It's not subtext! Subtext is supposed to be underlining. It's supposed to be, hidden for you to find yourself and come up with your own assumptions as to what's going on. This thing's messages are so blatantly shoved in your face that it's just this movie's pulling its pants down and wiggling its ass cheeks in front of your face going, ooh, look at me, I'm smart, I'm political, look at my messages about the 1%, ooh, I'm so clever. You're not. Shut the fuck up. You're not clever, you're not interesting, you're wrapping your bullcrap messages in this grimy coat of horror / grindhouse paint, and you're trying to pass it off as smart and interesting. Well, it's not. You're mixing old messages in a way that feels so forced and unnecessary. Why couldn't this have just been an underlining thing? It's Elysium all over again. Its messages are so front and center, and the storytelling is nowhere near as interesting as it should be. So what we're left with is a quarter-baked story with some half-assed political messages front and center that are nauseatingly stupid. And it just gets old after a while. You could play a drinking game with the amount of times someone comes up and says, "Down with America! Down with the 1%! All hail freedom! Gun violence is bad!" Give me a fucking break. You'll be drunk if you play this fucking this game. Oh my god, this movie is so stupid. And look, I'm not a guy to dwell on plot holes. I'm not a guy to make so many complaints about a movie's plot. I can suspend my disbelief, alright? I really can. I can't do it with these movies. I cannot do it. Because they don't have fun with themselves. They're so overtly serious that this whole premise just comes off as dumb. It's just dumb, and it's filled with so many plot holes and so many like illogical things that I just cannot deal with that. And I know what you're thinking, guys. You're thinking, well, this plot's not supposed to be taken seriously, Razor Blade Mango. It's just a dumb, goofy plot. And you're absolutely right. It is a dumb, goofy plot. But if they treated it like a dumb, goofy movie that was having fun, it could get away with a lot of this. Having a movie with a sense of humor can get away with a lot of stuff. But this movie doesn't. It doesn't even have a dark sense of humor. It's just flat and boring and stupid. So, here, I want to pose this question. How does the Purge help this society? We've seen this thing happen for 2 movies now. What is the point of this Purge? To kill the poor people. Okay, how the fuck is that going to help society? How is that going to help society? Seriously. The gun violence in this movie, so apparently these movies' logic is that you get out all your violent tendencies in one night. That's not how humanity works! That's not how it works! What about crime of passion? What about somebody desperate for money that they need to commit a crime? What about a group of people that are just bored and want to go out and fuck shit up like the Joker? They just want to go out and do it. They just want to see the world burn. They don't want to wait 365 days or 364 days for another Purge. They just want to go out and fuck shit up on their own. And apparently this Purge has weapon limitations. So technically people are not getting out all of their violent tendencies. What about somebody that just wants to like shoot a bazooka at a building? And they're not allowed to do that. So technically they're not repressing they're still repressing their violent tendencies, potentially for something violent to happen when it's not the Purge. See, it's just things like that these writers don't think about. And if they want to be so serious with their plot, they need to have smarter writing. They need to actually sit down and think about all this instead of just leaving it to the audience's imagination. Because I'm sorry, I don't buy any of this. I don't buy that this Purge helps society. To me, it's just a stupid, brainless core premise, and it diseases the whole thing. But let's not talk about plot holes anymore. Let's talk about the acting. Let's talk about the acting. Let's move on to something else. The acting in this movie, just boring. It's boring. Frank Grillo, he seems to be the only one doing anything in this movie. He seems to be the only one like legitimately taking this role seriously. And I give him props for that, because I really like Frank Grillo and everything, but he's okay in this movie. It's more like the writing that fails him instead of his performance, because this writing doesn't allow him to. And this guy has acting chops. I've seen it before, and he's just given nothing in this movie. Really, all the psychological potential for his character is just thrown out the window like halfway into the movie. It really does not matter anymore, and he just becomes another flat, boring character. And then you get who I didn't even recognize, Michael K. Williams in this movie, who's Chalky on Boardwalk Empire. Really fantastic character actor. And again, he's given nothing to do in this movie besides yell and scream and say down with rich white people. That's all he does in this movie. And I've seen people go, his role was so badass. His part in this movie was so fucking cool. No, it wasn't. Michael K. Williams is cool. This character is not cool. I hate to burst your bubble, guys, but he's not cool. What they do with his character is so like in your face and stupid and dangerous. That's another problem with this movie. If you want to go I'm gonna take it this far. This movie is fucking dangerous. This is dangerous. It gives off this message about how the like rich white people are technically rich people are the problem in today's society, and how this movie is basically passing the blame onto them. And it's encouraging people to go out and shoot, like, people that don't know any better, people that are dumb or mentally ill that watch this movie. They could potentially see a message behind it to kill rich people because they're the problem in society, and they could do it. Honestly, like, this movie's messages are so fucked up and dangerous that this movie is just a danger to society. It's dangerous. I don't understand who thought this movie would be entertaining. I don't understand who thought we needed this movie. What is the point of this movie? If it's to promote hatred and violence, then good job, because you did that with flying colors. Unfortunately, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. This movie's messages are bullshit. This movie's ideas are bullshit. The whole reason for this movie existing is bullshit. And one final note before I give my overall consensus of this movie, if it wasn't obvious enough, is that every time there's action in this movie, there's potential for it to be cool. But the camera work is awful. It's so bad. Every time there's action, it switches to that super shaky cam, hyper editing. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's literally just one big blur. And it's amazing how much in common this movie has with Elysium. It has almost the exact same problems. It might as well be like the exact same movie. It promotes killing the 1%. It promotes inciting anarchy, which this movie is literally in the title, even though there's really no anarchy to speak of. Like, it's like plays such a little role in this movie. Its messages are crap. Its messages are forefront and center. Both these movies have atrocious action, and they both have boring, stupid villains. So, The Purge, Anarchy. What the fuck? I got duped. Guys. I got fucking duped again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's right, guys. Shame on me. I cannot believe I fell for this crap again. I don't care how cool the third movie looks, because you know they're going to make one. These movies have micro budgets, and they make their money back in the first day. First day. And what sucks about these movies is that they're preying on the goodwillness of dumb teenagers that go out on a Thursday or Friday or Saturday night to have a good time. They want to have a scare, no matter how cheap and manipulative it is. They want to just go watch a horror movie and just like with their date. I'm telling you guys, don't watch this movie. To all you guys out there that are thinking, wow, this could potentially be a cool date movie. It's not. It's really not. Even the teenage, like in the audience, the theater I saw this with was surrounded by your typical Friday night teenager that was just looking to have a fun time with their girlfriend or boyfriend, and they thought this movie was fucking terrible. Like, literally, I heard this couple behind me go, that was literally the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm not gonna go that far, but them saying that, it gives me hope that people are recognizing how fucking stupid this movie is, and how cheap these studios are becoming with their horror movies. This is why I don't like this genre. Because it's so, like, even all these trailers for all these horror movies coming out, they all look like the same exact thing. It's the same thing. It's a bunch of teenagers awakening some evil spirit, and you hear that little kid's laugh in the background. Do you know how many fucking trailers I saw that evening that had the little kid in the background go, ah, as like a scary thing? It's not scary, guys. Your tactics for horror movies are becoming so cheap and so borderline like manipulative, and just You're preying on the goodwill of people that want to go out and have a fun time. And to me, that shit is fucking... It's criminal and inexcusable. And fuck this movie. Fuck the Purge Anarchy. This movie is bullshit. Do not go out and watch this movie. And I swear, if it hadn't been for another movie I saw earlier this year that I thought was just so fucking crappy, that I thought was worse than the Purge Anarchy, this would be my least favorite movie of the year. But like the last one, it has to settle for second place because there's just something far worse on the horizon as to like what has been going on this year. And I'm not gonna spoil what it is. I'm gonna save it until the end of the year. I'm gonna give that movie a good rant because it needs it. And who knows? I could see like 3 other movies that are just as bad or worse than The Purge and this other one. But you know what? I'm trying to avoid bad movies this year. And so far I've been doing an okay job, but man, I got shot in the ass with this movie. This movie took me by surprise and shot me in the ass. And this movie sucks. Don't watch The Purge Anarchy. And it's already a big success, which we're gonna see a third movie. I've heard people say that they're going to make like an annual thing, like Paranormal Activity and Saw. Ugh, god damn. You know, the only Purge movie I want to see is what happens 24 hours after the Purge ends. I want to see how this city is able to rebuild itself after such a physically and psychologically traumatizing previous 12 hours. Show me that movie. That movie is an interesting movie that I want to see. But if it's got the same writer and director behind it, oh boy. This guy, this writer and director, James DeMonico, he's awful. He's an awful writer and director. Get him away from this franchise that is so ripe with potential. And that's what's so equally sad and frustrating about this fucking series. Is that they have the potential to be cool. But they're not. They're so lame and boring and pathetic and politically ass backwards. It's bullshit. This whole series is bullshit. Fuck this series. Fuck The Purge. Fuck The Purge Anarchy. Fuck this series. Fuck this director. Fuck this writer. Fuck this movie's logic. Fuck the idea of a third movie. And just fuck everyone involved with this movie. This is shameful. This is bullshit. Fuck this movie. Alright guys. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the movie. I'm pretty sure this movie is literally like, what I've seen is divided down the middle. Like the first movie. And once again, I'm on the side of the boo! So, let me know what you thought of this movie in the comments. And as always guys, thank you for watching. Have a good one.